Imagine waking up tomorrow morning, looking in the mirror and hearing the voice inside your head say, "You are powerful, you are capable, today you are moving forward." How would that change the way you step into your day? Now let's be honest, most of us don't talk to ourselves that way. Instead, we hear something like, "I didn't get enough sleep," or "I'm not good at this," or "I'll never catch up." But what if, for just 3 days, you change that script? What if, for 72 hours, you spoke to yourself like someone you believed in? The way we speak to ourselves shapes the way we see the world, the way we act, and ultimately the results we get in life. Every word we repeat in our minds carries energy. It either lifts us up or drags us down. The truth is, we are constantly in conversation with ourselves, whether we realize it or not. And the quality of that conversation determines the quality of our lives. Think about it. Have you ever woken up in the morning and immediately thought, "Oh, I'm so tired. This day is going to be stressful. I don't want to deal with this"? What happens next? Your brain follows the direction of your thoughts. You feel sluggish, you anticipate problems, and by the end of the day, you're mentally drained, feeling like you had no control over how things unfolded. Now imagine a different start to your morning. You wake up and say to yourself, "Today, I'm ready. I may not have all the answers, but I trust myself to figure it out. I've handled challenges before, and I'll handle them again." How does that change the way you feel? Instead of being reactive, you become proactive. Instead of seeing stress, you see opportunities. This is not just a mindset shift. It's neuroscience. Your brain is constantly forming neural pathways based on repetition. The more you say something to yourself, the more your brain believes it. If you constantly tell yourself, "I'm not good enough," your brain will filter out evidence of your success and only focus on your shortcomings. But if you tell yourself, "I am learning, growing, and getting better every day," your mind will seek out proof that this is true. The most powerful part of this is that we have a choice. We are not victims of our thoughts. We are the creators of them. And when we become intentional about how we speak to ourselves, everything changes. Think of your mind like a garden. If you plant seeds of doubt, fear, and negativity, you'll grow a life full of stress and insecurity. But if you plant seeds of confidence, belief, and determination, you'll cultivate a life filled with growth and resilience. The words you speak to yourself are the seeds that determine your future. This doesn't mean ignoring challenges or pretending everything is perfect. It means shifting the way you respond to those challenges. Instead of saying, "I can't do this," say, "I will find a way." Instead of, "I always mess up," say, "I am learning from this experience." Instead of, "I'm not smart enough," say, "I can learn anything I put my mind to." It may feel uncomfortable at first because your brain is used to the old script, but with time, repetition, and consistency, those new words become your reality. The most successful people in the world aren't free from doubt. They've just learned how to manage their self-talk. They know that confidence isn't something you're born with. It's something you build through the words you tell yourself every single day. So the next time you catch yourself speaking negatively, pause. Reframe it. Choose words that empower you. Because at the end of the day, your words don't just describe your reality, they create it. Every thought you think, every word you say to yourself leaves an imprint on your mind. Whether you realize it or not, your brain is always listening, always absorbing, and always shaping your beliefs based on the conversations you have with yourself. The way you speak internally is not just a passing thought, it's programming. And that programming determines how you see yourself, how you act, and ultimately what you achieve in life. Imagine a child who is constantly told they are smart, capable, and full of potential. Over time, they internalize those words and carry themselves with confidence. Now imagine a different child who is repeatedly told they are not good enough, that they always fail, that they are not as talented as others. That child grows up doubting themselves, hesitating to take risks, and second-guessing their abilities. In both cases, the mind simply absorbed what it heard and made it the truth. This is exactly what happens with the words you tell yourself every single day. Your subconscious doesn't distinguish between what is real and what is simply repeated. If you keep telling yourself, I'm not good at this, your brain takes that as a command. It will focus on all the times you struggled, reinforcing that belief until it becomes your reality. But if you tell yourself, I am learning, I am improving, I am capable, your mind will work in the opposite direction, finding proof of your progress and building confidence along the way. The way you talk to yourself matters more than you think. Your brain is always forming new neural pathways, strengthening the ones you use the most. If you feed it self-doubt, insecurity, and negativity, those neural pathways grow stronger. If you feed it encouragement, possibility, and determination, those pathways become dominant instead. Consider this. Have you ever made a small mistake and immediately thought, I'm so stupid, or I always mess up? What happens next? Your energy drops, your motivation fades, and you approach the next task with hesitation. But what if instead you said, that was a mistake, but I'm learning. I'll do better next time. Notice how that shift changes the way you feel. One response drains you, while the other fuels growth. Your words are instructions to your mind. If you tell yourself, I'm too shy to speak up, your mind accepts that as truth and reinforces it. But if you tell yourself, I have valuable thoughts to share, and I am learning to speak with confidence, your mind will start searching for ways to make that happen. The difference isn't in your ability, it's in what you tell yourself about your ability. This isn't about blind positivity or ignoring reality. It's about being intentional with your self-talk so that it serves you instead of working against you. If your mind is always listening, why not give it something empowering to hold on to? Every time you catch yourself saying something negative, pause and reframe it. Instead of, I can't handle this, say, I will find a way. Instead of, I'll never get better, say, I'm improving every day. It may feel unnatural at first, but with consistency, it becomes your default way of thinking. The truth is, you are always in control of the words you choose, and since your mind is always listening, it's up to you to decide what message you want it to hear. Sometimes, the only thing standing between you and a breakthrough is the way you think. When life feels overwhelming, when self-doubt creeps in, and when progress seems slow, what you truly need is not more pressure, but a mental reset, a fresh way of seeing yourself, your challenges, and your potential. Think about how often we reboot our phones, computers, or devices when they slow down or get stuck. We don't assume they're broken, we just know they need a reset to function better. Yet when it comes to our minds, we rarely give ourselves that same grace. We let negative thoughts pile up, stress build, and self-doubt repeat like a loop, never realizing that we have the power to reset and start again at any moment. A mental reset doesn't mean ignoring reality or pretending things are perfect. It means stepping back, clearing the clutter of negative self-talk, and choosing new thoughts that empower rather than limit you. It's about interrupting old patterns and replacing them with a mindset that actually serves you. One of the most powerful ways to reset your mind is to shift from reaction to intention. Most of the time, we operate on autopilot, reacting to whatever happens around us. We wake up and immediately start thinking about everything that's wrong. I didn't sleep enough. I have too much to do. This day is going to be hard. And from that first thought, we've already set the tone for our entire day. But what if, instead, we took control from the moment we wake up? What if we paused and intentionally chose a different thought? Today I have the power to shape my experience. I will focus on solutions instead of problems. I will treat myself with kindness and patience. I am in control of how I respond to what happens today. This simple shift changes everything. It stops the automatic negative cycle and puts you back in control of your mindset. And when your mindset shifts, your energy, actions, and results follow. Another key part of a mental reset is becoming aware of the stories you tell yourself. Every single day, we create stories in our minds about who we are and what we are capable of. Some of these stories are empowering. I am strong. I always find a way. I am capable. But many of them are limiting. I'm not good enough. I always fail. Things never work out for me. If you've been repeating the same limiting story for years, it's time to change it. A mental reset means rewriting the narrative. It means recognizing that just because you've thought something for a long time doesn't make it true. Challenge those old beliefs. Ask yourself, is this thought helping me or holding me back? If it's holding you back, replace it with a new one. Sometimes a reset requires stepping away from the noise. We are constantly bombarded with information, distractions, and outside opinions, making it easy to lose touch with our own thoughts. Take a break. Spend time in silence. Journal your thoughts. Go for a walk without your phone. When you create space, clarity follows, and with clarity comes the ability to reset and refocus. The beautiful thing about a mental reset is that you don't have to wait for a new year, a new month, or even a new day. You can do it at any moment. Right now, you have the power to stop, take a deep breath, and choose new thoughts. You have the ability to shift your perspective, reframe your challenges, and move forward with a mindset that serves you. No matter where you are in life, remember this: you are not stuck. You are not defined by your past thoughts. And at any moment, you can reset, realign, and rise. The way you speak to yourself shapes the way you see yourself. Too often, we become our own worst critics, constantly pointing out our flaws, mistakes, and shortcomings. We hold ourselves to impossible standards, compare ourselves to others, and replay past failures in our minds. But here's the truth. Self-criticism does not lead to growth. It does not make you stronger, smarter, or more successful. In fact, it does the opposite. It keeps you stuck in a cycle of doubt, hesitation, and fear. Now imagine if instead of being your worst critic, you became your best coach. Think about how a great coach operates. A coach doesn't ignore mistakes or pretend failures don't exist, but they also don't tear down the people they're guiding. Instead, they offer support, encouragement, and strategies for improvement. They see potential even in moments of struggle. They push you to grow, but they do it with belief, not with shame. What if you started talking to yourself that way? The shift from critic to coach begins with awareness. Pay attention to the words you use when you make a mistake or face a challenge. Do you say things like, "I'm so stupid," or "I always mess things up"? Or do you say, "That was a mistake, but I can learn from it"? Or, "I didn't get it right this time, but I'm improving"? The words may seem small, but the difference in impact is enormous. Your brain is always listening, always absorbing the messages you repeat. If you constantly criticize yourself, you are reinforcing the idea that you are not good enough. But if you guide yourself with kindness and encouragement, you reinforce the belief that you are capable of growth. Being your own coach means recognizing that setbacks are part of progress. No coach expects their team to be perfect at all times. They understand that mistakes happen, that learning takes time, and that failure is just feedback. If you adopt this mindset, you can start approaching your own challenges with resilience instead of self-judgment. For example, let's say you are working toward a goal, but you experience a setback. A critic's voice might say, "See, I knew I couldn't do this. I always fail." But a coach's voice would say, "This is a challenge, but I can find a way to overcome it. What can I learn from this?" One voice shuts down possibilities. The other opens doors to solutions. Another key part of shifting from critic to coach is practicing self-compassion. This doesn't mean making excuses or avoiding responsibility. It means treating yourself with the same level of patience and support that you would offer to someone else. If your best friend came to you feeling discouraged, would you say, "You're a failure and you'll never get it right"? Of course not. You'd probably say, "I know this is tough, but you are capable. Keep going." That's the voice you need to use with yourself. This shift doesn't happen overnight, but with consistency, it becomes your new default. The more you practice replacing self-criticism with constructive self-talk, the more natural it becomes. Over time, you'll notice a change in your confidence, your resilience, and your ability to navigate challenges. You are always going to have an internal voice guiding you. The question is, will that voice hold you back, or will it help you grow? The choice is yours. Become your own coach and watch how your life transforms. The words you speak, both out loud and in your mind, are more powerful than you realize. They don't just describe your reality, they shape it. Science has shown that the language we use influences our emotions, decisions, and even our physical health. The connection between words and belief is not just a motivational idea, it's backed by psychology and neuroscience. When you understand how your words shape your mind, you can use them to build confidence, resilience, and success. Your brain is constantly listening to what you say, and it responds accordingly. This is because of a process known as neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to rewire itself based on repeated thoughts and experiences. Every time you say something, whether positive or negative, your brain strengthens the neural pathways associated with that thought. If you repeatedly tell yourself, "I'm not good enough," your brain starts to believe it as truth. But if you consciously shift your words to, "I am learning, I am improving, and I am capable," your brain will rewire itself to support that belief. Dr. Andrew Newberg, a neuroscientist, and Mark Robert Waldman, a communication expert, conducted studies showing that just one negative word can trigger stress-producing hormones in the brain. When we use words like can't, never, or failure, our brain releases cortisol, the stress hormone, making us feel anxious and less capable. On the other hand, positive words like possible, growth, and success activate the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for problem solving and forward thinking. This means the language you use directly affects how you approach challenges and opportunities. Beyond individual thoughts, words also shape belief systems. A belief is simply a thought that has been repeated enough times that the brain accepts it as reality. For example, if a child is repeatedly told they are smart and capable, they develop a belief in their abilities. But if they are constantly told they are not good enough, that belief becomes ingrained and affects their actions for years to come. The same is true for the beliefs you form about yourself. If you continuously tell yourself, "I always fail," your brain will look for evidence to support that belief, even ignoring moments of success. But if you train yourself to say, "I always find a way," your brain will start looking for solutions instead of obstacles. Words also impact our physical bodies. Studies in psychoneuroimmunology, the connection between the mind and the immune system, show that people who use positive, empowering language have stronger immune responses and lower stress levels. This is because words influence the brain's chemical balance. When we speak positively, we release dopamine and serotonin, neurotransmitters associated with happiness and motivation. In contrast, negative self-talk increases stress hormones that weaken the immune system and lower energy levels. One of the most well-known examples of how words affect belief is the placebo effect. Patients who are given a sugar pill but told it's a powerful medication often experience real healing simply because they believe in the words of their doctor. Their mind translates belief into physical change. Now imagine applying this principle to your daily life. If you consistently tell yourself you are capable, strong, and resilient, your brain will align your actions to make those beliefs true. The good news is that you have the power to change your internal dialogue at any moment. Becoming aware of the words you use is the first step. Instead of saying, "I can't," say, "I'll find a way." Instead of, "I'm not good at this," say, "I am improving every day." The more you reinforce these messages, the more your brain will reshape itself to support them. Your words are not just expressions, they are commands to your brain. Choose them wisely and you can reprogram your beliefs, shift your mindset, and change your life. Transformation doesn't happen overnight. It's not the result of one big leap, but rather the outcome of consistent effort, small steps, and daily progress. The secret to lasting change lies in momentum, the force that keeps you moving forward even when challenges arise. Once momentum is built, it becomes the driving force that turns effort into transformation. Think about how hard it is to push a heavy object from a standstill. The initial effort feels difficult, almost impossible, but once it starts moving, it becomes easier to keep going. The same principle applies to personal growth, success, and any meaningful change in life. The hardest part is getting started, but once you do, every small action compounds, making progress feel natural and inevitable. Momentum is created through action, not just motivation. Many people wait until they feel ready to begin something new. They wait for the perfect time, the perfect circumstances, or the perfect mindset. But motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes.